Broadcasting live from WORKBENCHcon 2022 in Atlanta, it's time for Organization Conversation, brought to you by Wall Control Storage Systems. Wall Control gives you the storage and organization you crave.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Organization Conversation. We are coming to you from WORKBENCHcon and really excited to have Char on this episode. She is local in Atlanta, and we're at a conference with people who've flown in from all around the world, so this will be fun. And also Stephanie with Uncommon Outpost, as well as a company called Wall Control. So she can speak to from a lot of different angles. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy to be here. It's been an amazing weekend.
Yeah, WORKBENCHcon's always awesome. It's all the different relationships you make and the connections you deepen and all that stuff. So yeah. So tell everybody a little bit about your own brands and yourself.
Sure. So I am a woodshop teacher. I teach mainly out of our local makerspace, Decatur Makers. I teach kids as young as 7 how to use power tools, and adults. I think the oldest person that I've had is probably 80.
Wow.
Who took woodshop 60 years ago, you know? I do a lot of content creation for brands, travel a lot with different brands, and dabble in some TV and commercials.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited for what we might be able to do in the future too with Decatur Makers and with the community. You know, like we have this amazing community here, an amazing community of customers that are kind of all over the place, but we want to really start to focus back on our backyard, so to speak. Because there's a lot of people here that we could probably have an impact on, just helping show that you can make things with your hands. You can do this stuff too, and not be. I mean, I feel like it's a middle breakthrough when you make your first thing. You know, when it's like you see something, you see it in your head, and you actually bring it to life. So, what got you into it?
What got me into it? Gosh, it's a long story. So it was about 20 years ago. I started when I was 3. Making. I'm kidding. Yeah. It was 20 years ago, but this was before YouTube. This is before Google was what it was, and I did not have the resources to learn how to make other than books. So I needed a bed. I could not afford the bed, so I figured out how to build this bed. It took me 3 months.
That's a big jumping off point too. That's not like a little knick-knack or something.
You don't
Beds
think
are
so?
Expensive.
They are.
I had built, one of my first things was a bed too, like that I built by myself. Do you know how expensive a bed is for someone in their 20s? That's a lot of money.
I know. It's like, what's wrong with the mattress on the floor? I figure, I guess that's not cool. I have to do some level of adulting at this point, right? It took me 3 months to build this bed with a borrowed drill. But from that moment on, I said, I really enjoy making. Can I do this forever? And of course, I couldn't. I didn't know that could be a business or a job. So I started working. I started my family. I have 4 children, married my college sweetheart, and the itch to make just wouldn't go away until I just said one day, I can't do this corporate America behind the desk thing anymore. And I left my job without a plan. There was no savings. There was no backup plan. If this fails, I just said, I just want to be a maker. That's it.
That's burn the ships. We're going to land. We can't go back.
Exactly. Yeah. So I just got in the shop, took out my tools, and made whatever I could. It was horrible furniture using butt joints. It was awful, but I kept working at it. Someone told me about Instagram a few years ago, and I thought that was a dumb idea. Why would I want to put pictures of what I made for people to judge and critique them online?
Right, yeah.
That's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
But I did, and what ended up happening as a result was finding this community of people and finding the makerspace and finding other women. I mean, look at the power of Instagram. Stephanie and I connected at some point last year, 2020, at WORKBENCHcon, and we kept in touch. And she said she was moving to Georgia, and I kept saying, join the makerspace, join the makerspace. And now we get to make funny TikTok videos together and spend hours figuring out epoxy projects. And we've formed this relationship and friendship. And I found someone who enjoys making just as much as I do, who is a woman in a male-dominated field, and
we're just crushing it.
Y'all are. And it's like, I mean, it's amazing. And to the point of like social media, I think this community is this is how you do it right. You know, like you can meet somebody on social media, but like this brings it together and actually meeting them in person and being able to collaborate in person. It's kind of all the good things it should be, in my opinion.
Exactly.
Just from watching you guys. So yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like when you're a little girl that does stuff that little girls don't do, it's really hard to find your people. Because like, I mean, there's no one that looks like you that does the things that you want to do. And Char's out here like with a whole troop of little girls being like, yeah, let's use a table saw. Come on, put your safety glasses on. Like, I'm going to show you how to do this. I can do this. You can do this. Let's go.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like the inspiration and yeah, what you guys are doing to inspire that next generation of, creative women who build and do, that because it's not only is that an underserved population, but just the making and building in general is becoming underserved. So you're talking about such a small amount of people that these young women have to look up to. You know what I mean? So it's super important to be out there doing that, and it's cool to watch.
It is cool to watch, and I love what Wall Control is doing for the community. I got contacted by a local charter school to help build what they call steam trunks, and that's basically carts for specific skills. So they have a woodworking cart, they have a 3D printing cart, and I'm working on an AV cart for the school. And I said, wouldn't it be great to really organize it with some wall control panels, right?
I love it, yeah.
So I'm taking a local community from what they do, wall control, bringing that into the school, and then the school invited me to speak at their career day.
Wow.
So because you're a Black woman who works with wood, I'm like, please share my story with young kids, especially girls, right? And I'm like, oh, look, and there's companies right here in your backyard that fabricate and make these things. And I have a friend who's also a woman who does this and works there. You should come with me.
Okay,
I'll go.
To the career day. But I love being a part of this community. It sucks that it has to be so marginalized, but I'm hoping that I can help change that, right? And just making normal for everybody. It doesn't matter what color you are, doesn't matter what your background is, because we're pretty much all capable, right?
Absolutely.
Making isn't hard. It just takes time and a lot of money.
Yeah. And the fear of not having a fear of failure. Understanding failure is just a lesson learned. I think that's a big part of it too, just from conversations, and what you see folks here say to each other and to their audience. So I think that's an important aspect too. But no, it's amazing what you both are doing for the community. For all, when I say community, your own personal communities, and then community at large within the makerspace, because it's not they're a woman of color and female, but you're an awesome maker, period. You know what I mean? Like that's what's cool about it, is just bringing all that to an even level where you're putting out amazing work and everybody can see that. So,
well, it's really important to have allies in the space, right? For people to recognize that, and for you guys to even have me here, that you go, okay, Char is a good maker. Char is a cool person. Let's rope her into the conversation where I can get exposure to some of the things that everybody else just automatically has exposure and access to that I may not have. So thank you for having this platform and for doing this and sharing stories of makers on every different level.
Yeah, no problem. It's our pleasure, and we hope it benefits our customer base to be able to see that. And say somebody, say like a mom got some wall control and has some drills up, and a daughter that wants, she can see you guys and say, okay, I'm gonna this is what I want my daughter to be doing when she's 23, is sitting and talking about how to do this stuff. So yeah, absolutely. So any exciting upcoming things you can talk about? There's probably stuff you can't, but what can you say?
Can you tell by the look on my face that there's stuff that I can't talk about?
Well, I know you're a shaker and mover, so there's always going to be. But yeah, so anything you'd like to let our audience know that might be fun to follow along with?
Well, my whole goal right now is, one, to bring woodshop back to schools, right? Because that's something that's missing and it's something that's needed. And to also change the face of woodworking. You know, I was in the elevator the other day talking to two guys who were here for another conference, and I told them what I was here for, and they laughed at me.
Really?
What? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Really?
They laughed.
It's just crazy to like hear actual stories like that.
Yeah.
You know, it, like
You would be surprised.
I know. Well, you've told me stuff, Steph, like just stuff online, comments that get said. Like it's like the thickness of skin y'all have is, I respect that, because I mean, most people get any bad comment and they're like, it's just cower and give up and don't want to keep pushing after it. So a lot of respect there for sure.
Yeah. Well, it happened to me in a really bad way one time. Well, I'll tell you a quick story. I can laugh about it because I'm pretty sure everybody has experienced this on some level before. I was teaching a class to kids. We were making birdhouses, right? Birdhouses are pretty basic. They're generic. You can't really mess them up. And
usually you start with that before a bed kind of thing.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm very, very like advantageous, and I just if I'm gonna go, I'm gonna go.
Exactly.
Right? There's no like pause or halfway for me. So I make this birdhouse. I whip this birdhouse up in the morning, and I walk in to the maker space, and there's a group of men of a certain age, and they, oh, what do you have there? I said, oh, it's just the prototype for the class today. And they take it and look at it and go, this isn't square. One of them proceeds to take it to the wood shop, dismantle it, and rebuild it.
Are you kidding me?
I was so hurt by that. And I was so disappointed and so upset. And I vowed that I would never, ever let anybody make me feel less than about anything that I do. So everything else that happened after that point, people leaving me negative comments, you should never use power tools again. You have no idea what you're doing. Doesn't bother me at all.
It's probably like fuel in the furnace,
It
It
is.
just keeps,
It is.
Yeah.
But it happens, and that's okay. I'm not for everybody. Everybody will not accept what I do. I have women who say, oh, you need to leave that to the boys. Someone left a comment, and then like everybody from Instagram like went to that brand's page and like attacked this woman. I'm like, I didn't mean for you guys to go after it, but this maker community is strong.
Exactly.
We stick together and we uplift each other even through the failures and the mistakes that we make. So I'm just here as an inspiration and to empower other people to say, you're going to have haters wherever you go, whatever you do, right?
Yeah,
but
of course.
you know your worth, right? You know what you've done. You know your track record. Nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes. But you put your pants on the same way I do, right? Covered in sawdust.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
That's right.
And we get up and we go make every day.
Awesome. Well, I don't think there's a better way to end it, or actually put a pin in it, than that, because we definitely want to have you back when we're back in studio. So we can call this one to be continued. But yeah, in the meantime, one more time, if you don't mind giving our listeners how to find you and follow along, and same with you, Steph. Let's get them inspired.
Well, I'm Stephanie. You can find me at Uncommon Outpost or at Wall Control in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Powder coating panels.
If something's broke, she knows how to fix it. Or it doesn't even have to be in her realm of like responsibility at all. Stephanie will go to the problem and start trying to figure it out. It's crazy. So
she's a rock star.
She sure is.
I'm Char. You can find me at Woodenmaven on Instagram, and I have a website somewhere out there in the world, and you can probably find me on television at some point.
Absolutely.
I'm
sure. Yeah. A shooting star for sure. So absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Char.
Thank you for joining us. Organization Conversation is brought to you by Wall Control, a family-owned and operated producer of best-in-class wall-mounted organizers for your home or business, made right here in the USA. To learn more, go to wallcontrol.com.